A short 2-minute video of Trump and Bondi checked multiple boxes of fascism, and not even in the libtard TDS way, simply by definition. Taking away our rights by criminalizing newborns to dehumanize immigrants is the perfect playbook to highlight this. Listen to what they're saying.
Or somebody that we respect, including ourselves.
And a question for both the President and the Attorney General. Under birthright citizenship, if this is implemented, who would be tasked with actually vetting citizenship? And how, would this be a situation where you have nurses and doctors checking for citizenship of parents? Or?
They should also ask, can we deport the baby if we don't know the father? Does that encourage more fatherlessness? Will you be collecting our DNA for verification? The right loves a good conspiracy, after all.
This is all pending litigation. It's going to be decided in October by the Supreme Court, and we'll discuss that after the litigation.
This is a total dodge. They can't answer questions about enforcement because they either don't have an answer or the plan is too despicable to say out loud. Either way, this isn't about governance, it's about fear. If hospitals become sites of immigration enforcement, it criminalizes birth itself, a chilling authoritarian move seen in ethnic purges. Deferring to the Supreme Court gives plausible deniability, but it's a smokescreen. This administration operates under the idea that everything is legal for as long as you can appeal.
If you have an undocumented baby, would that baby then be an enforcement priority?
The violent criminals in our country are the priority now. Let me put it in perspective. Today marked the 2,711th arrest in our country of TDA members, just TDA. Everyone in this room agrees they are one of the most violent criminal organizations in the world.
This is a deflection. The question was about newborns, and the response pivots to gangs. It's a dehumanization tactic. Frame all undocumented people, even infants, as latent threats. This mirrors classic fascist logic. The group must be cleansed of impure or criminal elements, and those elements are broadly defined to include the innocent. Fascist rhetoric always uses specific crime stories to justify mass repression. Even if this number is true, what rights are you willing to give up to arrest 3,000 gang members?
And the Biden administration let them walk into our country for the last 4 years.
Yet another element of fascism, an obsession with humiliation and victimhood. Notice how Biden is brought up in every conversation to this effect.
2,711 of them today have been arrested in our country. That is the priority of Donald Trump. That is the priority of this country, of Homeland Security, of all of our lawyers, of FBI. That's the priority. That will be discussed in October when the Supreme Court hopefully rules in our favor, and we're very confident of that. But you should all feel safer now that President Trump can deport all of these gangs, and not one district court judge can think they're an emperor over this administration and his executive powers and why the people of the United States elected him.
This implies the judiciary should submit to the executive, completely antithetical to U.S. constitutional structure. They invoke the mandate of the people, as if you can elect someone to violate our Constitution. Mass-based politics is yet another fundamental element of fascist regimes. Declaring that Venezuela, in opposition to Trump's own intelligence agencies, is sending gang members to the U.S. as an act of war is the only basis by which Trump can deport people without due process. Just like with Abrigo Garcia, any scrutiny of these accusations in court would likely fall apart.
I just might add one thing, and they used birthright citizenship, some of the worst people, some of the cartels, to get people into our country, just so you know. And again, I say, if you look at the end of the Civil War, the 1800s, it was a very turbulent time. If you take the end day, was it 1869 or whatever, but you take that exact day, that's when the case was filed. And the case ended shortly thereafter. This had to do with the babies of slaves, very, very obviously. And I think we're going to win. People I don't think they went about discussing it right. I came along and we looked and we said, wait a minute, this is wrong. We've been looking at birthright citizenship wrong for years.
The Supreme Court ruled multiple times reaffirming birthright citizenship. It is woven into the character and values of the U.S.
But they've used it. The cartels have used birthright citizenship to get very bad people in. And what Pam's doing and what Todd and everybody else, what they're doing at DOJ and all over, FBI, ICE, Border Patrol, these are incredible people. They're trying to keep our country safe, and they don't want to have people come in. This is just another way that they get illegal immigrants into our country, and in some cases, very, very bad ones. Go ahead.
There is absolutely no evidence that birthright citizenship has been exploited by gangs. It's just another way to criminalize literal newborns. Why are babies being portrayed as a national security threat? This is ideological inversion, claiming civil rights protections as a loophole for criminals, flipping protections and threats. And now we have Alligator Alcatraz in addition to CCOT and deportations into war zones? Don't have the nerve to act confused when we draw certain obvious parallels of internal cleansing. These are all hallmarks of fascism, which this administration unironically wears as a badge of honor. I'll be going more into depth later in videos on how this isn't just an empty allegation, but rather a historically and technically accurate assessment. Subscribe if you're interested in that sort of thing, and thank you for watching.